What's up, guys? Max Scoville here for Destructoid, and I am with Mr. Hamza Aziz, the CEO of Destructoid.com. And Hamza, like the piece of shit that he is, went up to Seattle to play Destiny.
One of the few only
at
people.
The Bungie offices. What is it? How is Destiny? What was your takeaway here? Because we basically don't know anything, and you went in there and you got to rub your hands all over it. And
they showed us a good chunk of the gameplay. Finally, I got to play at least about 90 minutes of hands-on of the game and everything. But they were still being very secretive about like pretty much 90% of the game. It really sucks. Yeah. It's kind of killing my hype at this point.
Yeah,
but I guess
I'm kind of with you on that, you know? Like you came back and you told me that, and I was expecting you to be like, well, here's the story. The traveler shows up and it does all this, and the people live in the Citadel or whatever. And you did learn some of the lore. We know that the big white Death Star thing is a spaceship that came to Earth in the future, and everyone had like this big golden age and everything's great. Yeah. And then everything went to shit, and then people are kind of rebuilding. I read this in your preview that the traveler is where the energy for all the weapons comes from, yeah?
Yeah, for your special ability. So there's 3 different classes in Destiny. Like there's a Warlock, a Titan, and another type. You all get these really cool guns as you're playing through the game, kind of like Borderlands effect, where like there's a ton of loot and everything. You upgrade your weapons and all that. But each class can use all the weapons. So what really makes them special is their focus ability, which is this energy you draw upon from the Traveler. So like the Warlock class, his special ability is like he jumps into the air and just shoots out this like burst of energy that has like an area effect damage on all the enemies around.
This is the thing, is I've been very concerned that this would be basically just Borderlands meets Halo, which is how a lot of people have been framing it.
Right.
Did you feel it was like that at all, or was it?
So people are gonna hate me for this probably, but I'm not really a Borderlands fan at all. But I grew up with Halo. I love Halo. And it kind of felt like I was sliding right back into the Halo experience, at least as far as the controls went. This is Bungie. They've been making first-person shooters for over 10 years now. Yeah, exactly. And it felt very much like Halo. There's definitely like new elements to the whole experience. Like you have like a double jump / jetpack ability. You have the focus traveler energy like I was talking about. But as far as the combat and everything goes, it's very satisfying.
That's good.
Yeah, really pleased with that.
You and I have a similar thing here where in Borderlands, when the biggest sign that you're hitting the bad guy is the numbers flying off of him, that doesn't quite have the same satisfaction of the whole holding a gun and shooting shit with it.
Right.
Here's something. What's the story with the hoverbikes?
So everyone gets hoverbikes.
Everyone gets hoverbikes. It's like Oprah. Everyone gets a hoverbike. Look under your seat. There's a hoverbike there. How do they work?
So at any point, you just press one of the buttons. A hoverbike just like magically appears right in front of you, and you just jump on and take it wherever. So
that leads into a probably more interesting, valid question. How the hell is the game laid out? Because I know you played like sort of a more narrow, kind of mission-based. What's it called? Like
a strike.
Strike. Okay. Yeah. So that's kind of how big would you say that is?
So strikes are kind of like, imagine like you're playing like a mission in Halo, like one of the story pieces. Like this is about, on average, there'll be like 30 minutes of content. They're replayable. And they're just like little set pieces, essentially. The environment's pretty big. Like there's lots of open spaces, there's lots of corridors, interiors to go through, all through the one I played. But you know, the level's always kind of funny along. It's very linear in design. There's always gonna be like these like key moments during the fight too, like mini bosses and like an epic final boss at the end, which provide a lot of loot.
the big robot spider, yeah.
Yeah, that was actually a mini boss.
Okay.
There's this giant like orb thing at the very end of the level. That they keep teasing us. Like this is Bungie's like whole marketing thing, just teasing. They showed us this final boss, this giant like sphere that shot out energy from his eyeball or whatever. We could not finish it. They're holding it off for E3, like a lot of things with this game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'd show you B-roll of that, but we don't have any. We have 5 minutes of B-roll. How long were you on an airplane for?
2 hours.
Okay.
4 hours total.
We have like 3 like minute-and-a-half long clips to show you. So you've seen them all twice by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is I think we're both kind of chomping at the bit for this. We've been knowing about this game for a while. Yeah. It sucks to be kind of stringed along like this so much. I'm dying to get my hands on it. I'm glad to hear that it plays well and feels good. I mean, there's so many gaps to kind of fill in.
Right.
Did you get a sense that the strike missions were kind of broken up, sort of? Like, are they just like a separate thing you get to from a menu, or is it like a dungeon where you go to it from like the kind of overworld map, or?
From what I could tell, it felt like a menu system essentially.
Okay.
Like, so there's this thing called the Director that you can pull up at any time, and it shows you all your available missions and places you go. You start off on Earth, and there's like kind of like a story progression there. The better you're doing, the further along you go, you'll get access to the Moon, Mars, and other planets in the solar system. but I mean the director kind of just guides you to what is available to you at the moment.
Okay,
so.
it's not like an open universe kind of thing.
Right.
We've seen sort of vehicles flying around in some of the trailers and stuff, and it's not like you get in your ship and you start flying and you wind up on Mars.
Right.
You get the sense that it's more kind of that's sort of like a fast travel mechanism.
Pretty much, yeah. Like you, it's a fast travel / like loading screen thing right there. So you get in the ship, you see this cool animation, you'll see your friends' ships with you too in the loading animation, or whatever. But then you're dropped onto the planet.
So back to the hoverbikes. Were there any there were larger sort of open areas to really just explore? I mean, because that's the thing is I'm into the whole exploration thing.
Right.
If you're not going to give me a good story, at least kind of make me feel like I'm totally lost in this universe. So there's the kind of the public events that happen, or what? Do you know
So I think
that?
so there's strikes, which are these like these replayable little like instances basically. You can play that with up to 3 people. The other aspect of Destiny, like the main thing that I think everyone's really curious about, is kind of like the story, the campaign, or whatever they're trying to frame it as. We didn't get to play it, but Bungie did show us like about 15-20 minutes of a segment from the moon. And this is more like, I don't want to say Skyrim, because I don't want people getting the false like sense of scale or everything, but it's kind of that mini open world aspect where like you're just dropped onto the moon in this one section of it, and you can kind of go wherever you want.
Right.
And
We did kind of see that in one of the E3 demos. They were like, "You see that over there?
Yeah.
You can go there."
Right.
But then they're like, "But we're going in this corridor instead because corridors, you guys.
Yeah.
Great way to sell a shooter."
So I mean, for one of the Bungie developers showed off, it looked really wide open, like you could do whatever you want. But like at the end of the day, like why do I want to go there? Like they're not really telling us a story. I don't know what the main drive here is for players. I am looking forward to like what you're trying to bring up, like the massive multiplayer aspect or whatever. You could play the game by yourself totally, but there's always that encouragement to play with other people. You'll do better with other people, and those public events that we've been seeing, those look really cool.
So did they elaborate on how that works? Is it it's just a sort of spontaneous when there are? Is it just kind of a thing that spawns and people go to it, or I mean I know that there's a thing happens.
They didn't really explain it because, again, they're not showing anything off as far as that goes. From what I've gathered, it's just like you'll come across something. You'll come across like this really big, large-scale battle, and you can decide if you want to engage or not. And if you do engage, it kind of triggers it, and you'll probably be joining up with other players as they're engaging as well. It's all seamless. It's kind of like Journey, where everyone just kind of comes together for this, and then everyone's doing their own thing. They take down the big boss, and everyone gets their own loot. You don't have to worry about being like, dibs, that new gun is mine or whatever.
Right.
No, whatever you're seeing on screen is just for you. No one actually will see what you're seeing as far as loot and guns and item drops go.
And
so it's all for you.
They've kind of gone into what you can get the gun and you can rip it apart and apply the things to it and do the upgrades and shit.
Yeah.
Or you can carry what nine guns in your inventory.
You're holding up to 3 weapons as you're playing the game, but you have up to 9 weapons total in each weapon class. So you can have like 18 guns at once.
Okay, so it's not like a bunch of like, oh, I'm over encumbered. I'm gonna sit here and sift through my shit for a while. It's kind of like you've got proper slots.
You got proper slots. I mean, there will be a point where like, oh shit, you can't carry more stuff. What are you gonna do?
Right.
So you can like dismantle your weaponry and apply parts and stuff to your other weapons, or you can just go to the tower, which is a social space for Destiny, and sell your items.
Cool. Well, that sounds pretty good. Obviously, go check out Hamza's full write-up. He spent the last week going over audio interviews and just transcribing stuff and typing a whole bunch of words. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to come off too cynical, but it's like it's frustrating to be like just having a boner for a while. It's just after a while, you're just like, I want to go do something else. Nothing's happening here. Like Bungie. Let us play your game. Isn't they're doing beta this summer, yeah?
Beta's this summer. I think it's just exclusive to PlayStation owners, I believe.
Okay.
I think so.
And this actually surprised me. This is coming to PS3 and 360 as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do we know that that's Bungie developing that as well? It's not like
no one has said anything otherwise. I think Bungie has said that they're developing one game essentially for all the different platforms.
Okay.
So the only difference will be the exclusives on the Sony platforms and the visual differences.
Right. And you asked about the PC thing and
nothing. They're not saying anything about PC. It's kind of frustrating. I mean, the way you interact with your menu system to select your weapons and your gear and everything, it's like a mouse cursor. You're just moving your directional stick to select stuff instead of like a traditional just swapping over with a D-pad or whatever. So it's like, why can't you just make a PC version?
That's that seems kind of odd. Yeah, go check out Hamza's write-up. If you have any questions, I will make him go answer your questions in the comments, and he'll do it. Sometimes I'm gonna Hamza, you need more YouTube exposure. Again, apologize for the lack of cool B-roll. I'm sure you've seen this beautiful cityscape 4 times by now, but there you go. That's what we got. Thanks for tuning in. Check out the rest of our videos here. We have fun. I'll see you later.
Fed up with the hassle of selling your games online? Well, stop doing it that way then. Introducing Glide, the easiest way to transform those smelly old games you don't want anymore into hot, sexy piles of cash. After creating a free account, just click Sell on the Glide website, find your item, describe its condition, and name your price. That's all it takes to list it. No description writing or picture taking necessary. Yeah. Once your item sells, Glide will send you a shipping kit with everything you need to get your old game to its new owner. Everything's pre-addressed, prepaid, insured, and tracked the whole way, so all you have to do is put it in the mail. Once your buyer receives the shipment, payment will be deposited into your Glide account. Use the cash to shop on Glide, have it transferred to your bank account, get a check mailed to you, or even be paid in Bitcoin. Even if you're not looking to sell, Glide's got a great selection of pre-owned games, phones, tablets, and iPods for stupidly reasonable prices. To sign up today, head to detoid.tv/glide. It's a great service, and every sign-up helps support Destructoid.